Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Untitled Car Project. Special episode number 2. I'm going to call Josh Davis. He had the opportunity to go to a Barrett Jackson auction in Scottsdale, Arizona recently. I asked him to take a bunch of pictures, some short videos for us, and we're going to talk to him here real quick and get a rundown. Kind of listen to what he saw, what was good, what went for way more money than it should have, and just talk about what it's like to be at a Barrett Jackson auction. So let's give him a call.
Yo.
Hey, yo.
How's it going, man?
It's going pretty well. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good. Yeah, just got done stuffing my face. Susan's on her way back from Florida here, so it's been me and Spencer kicking it like. Actually, we've been getting along really well, so I'm not gonna bitch about that one bit. It's been actually pretty fucking good. I'm curious to see how he's gonna respond once she comes back.
Oh, he's gonna abandon you like instantly.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. He's gonna be, man, screw this shit.
Yeah.
So,
he'll be out. He's like, oh, mom's back. I'm out.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be expected. That's okay.
Yeah.
I had a chance to browse through the photo file, watch some of the videos.
Okay.
Yeah, looks pretty good. So
hey, sweet.
Yeah, let's just dive in. Tell me about the experience first. Like before we really dive into cars, like what's it like at a Barrett Jackson auction?
Dude, it's a madhouse.
Yeah.
It's kind of like any expo that you've kind of been to. So, if it's sports memorabilia, it kind of had that a little bit flavor to it because they were selling memorabilia, old shell signs and things like that. But there's vendors all over the place. It's loud. There's a bunch of people. There's excitement. You got new cars being put on display and all that stuff. So you have like every car manufacturer being represented at the auction there. So, Tesla's there, Ford's there. There was a bunch of like campers and off-roaders there, overland vehicles. There we go.
Yeah.
That were there. And, just a chance to check anything and everything out and get up close to it there. So no, and it's under like this huge, like almost like circus tent that has like multiple, tents kind of like in the shape of like a warehouse or whatever like that just keep extending.
Yeah, just like these giant convention spaces. So are those tents, quote unquote tents, are they erected just for that event?
It looked like it, yeah. It looks like it probably expands based on like the capacity and how many cars that they're auctioning off and whatnot.
Yeah.
For this auction, and it was apparently like a light auction because the official auction doesn't occur until January. So this was deemed a light auction, and there was just over 1,000 vehicles that were up for auction and looking to be sold just that weekend.
Damn, really? Like,
yeah, it was nuts.
So this is like a pre-auction for the people that don't know that they're serious about selling their cars, or I mean, that seems.
No, I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, it didn't. I don't know if it were people that were trying to get out ahead of maybe the January auction and maybe sell their vehicle to somebody before, whatever. I'm not exactly sure. Or if it was just simply an opportunity to get your car in front of a bunch of serious buyers. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's just one huge used car dealership, if you want to look at it that way.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, super busy, people everywhere, cars everywhere,
Yeah.
money flowing like water.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like it, right?
Yeah. It didn't matter if you were buying memorabilia, um, or whatever, everything was on display, a lot of expensive stuff. Uh, um, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was that sim rig that, I think I shared with you there. That was on display and they're trying to sell that thing. And I mean, that thing was $160,000. Not too many places you're cruising around trying to buy $160,000 sim rig.
And did it
And then the
sell?
cars. No, they just had the price tags on them, but it was just out for use. And then they were passing out cards and information on all that stuff.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the memorabilia, it was shocking to see like how some of these shell signs or like these original Mobile One signs and such like that selling for $60,000 and $75,000. I mean, just for these signs. I mean, it was nuts.
That is nuts. Jeez Louise. I mean, that's a serious collector. He wants a $60,000 sign.
Yeah, exactly. You got to figure, what does that person's space look like, and what does their collection look like to buy, again, a $50,000, saying sign or whatever like that. So, no, there's a lot of money floating around in there, and there was one thing that Susan and I came away with, and that was money looks like a dude in a polo shirt with a slight belly on him and khaki shorts. That's what money looks like.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you can never tell who's just loaded, got money to burn.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, good for them. I mean, if I had it to burn, I'd probably go there too. No, that's pretty, yeah.
I mean, dude, if I totally won the lottery, I mean, I think I've identified that is one place that would be high on the list of like where I need to stop and do some shopping. For all reasons, memorabilia, cards, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and then you need a warehouse to put it in.
Yeah.
It's always been a dream of mine to have a warehouse full of cars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, let's get into some of your favorite cars.
Dude, gosh, man, there was so many. I mean, first, I definitely wanted to, mention that I think you played Gran Turismo or really any racing game, Forza or something like that. And we've all done it where you purchased a bunch of cars for no darn reason. You're just putting together like a collection. And I can't stress enough how much this looked and felt like Gran Turismo.
You just putting together your car collection?
Dude, it's so ridiculous. It's so over the top. Like, it's truly overwhelming. There was cars on my list that I didn't even know were on my list until I walked through there.
Yeah. Yep.
And it wasn't just any car. Like, you think you were looking at, you could be looking at a C5, that looks clean and is put to, looks nice and such, but then find out like it's VIN number 1.
I saw the picture of that car. Like, yeah. I saw that one. I was like, oh, damn, VIN number 1. That's pretty special.
That is special, Yeah. And like, if it wasn't that, it was, a Corvette that just had like either, a unique spec that like other Corvettes don't have, or was like a certain anniversary year, or was a certain model that really like nobody has really come across or was really aware of or something like that. It wasn't just like, okay, here's a base model Mustang and that's it. There was always something special to it. Even for some of the Mustangs that I did see, and I thought it was just like a base model Mustang. It was like, no, this is actually the 40th anniversary of this, that, and the other. And that's why this is for sale or something like that. Like everything was special.
Yeah.
And that, made it, as cool as can be. Between that and besides the cars that were roped off, everything else you could absolutely open the doors to get in, check out, and all that. But no, going back to favorite cars, wow. Some that jumped out. I mean, there was the GT40 race car that was there, and that was just bonkers nuts.
Is that the black one, the number 2?
Yeah, it was. I was, drawn to like the intake system that was on the back of the car and like the scoops and how, there was, I think, like 3 of them or so funneling air in. That was pretty special. Another one was I'm gonna butcher this. I think it's like a Starliner. I never really was aware of this car or whatnot, but they called it a Scarliner due to the resto mod, the modulation that they did for it. They took that was the car where they took the engine out of a GT40 and stuffed it in this Starliner and such. That thing was crazy looking. It was crazy to look at because you have this engine that is in the rear of another car, but it's in the front of this car.
Oh, okay.
And like everything is positioned as such as well too. So I don't even know how they were doing like the intake system or anything like that for it, because it was running towards the inner part of the vehicle there. So like that was nuts, and the attention to detail to that car was great. Man, other cars, I have to admit, I've become a fan, or even more of a fan. I guess, again, I didn't know that I was a fan until I ran through here. Fans of the old Corvettes.
Yeah.
Those are some beautiful looking cars, man. I mean, and I've seen them all. I mean, literally seen them all. So yeah, just beautiful, good looking machines. It's amazing how far Corvette has evolved, same from some of the early ones, the C2s and the C1s of the world and
right,
such.
Right.
Yeah, that was amazing. There's some fan favorites, the Mustang fanboy in me loved the Cobra R. That's one of those cars that you really do not see. And that was pretty cool to look at.
That was the black one with the the red stripe across the bottom.
No, so that was another one. The Cobra R, I think it's like of the is it deemed the 5th gen? Man, I should have taken pictures of these signs and looked at that. And I cannot see the year.
Yeah,
and such on that. But the Cobra R, it's red. It's got a big wing on the back and a front splitter. Gotcha. I imagine the listeners should have an idea of what I'm talking about there. The black one, the Code Red, that was nuts as well too. And yeah, that was special to me. I did get a picture of the sign for that. So that was a GT500 that was twin turbocharged. And had over 1,000 horsepower and 780 foot-pound of torque.
Damn.
Running off pump gas, nonetheless.
Wow.
With the E85, it bumped it up to 1,300 horsepower and 1,000 pound-feet of torque.
Ah, that's ridiculous. How do you keep tires under it?
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, that was a beautiful car, and like all the canards, the splitter, the side rockers, all of that was all carbon fiber. It was a really good looking car there. I've also fallen in love with the old school Chevy Blazers.
Oh, those are so awesome! I want one. I had one. I had one a long time ago, and I want another one so bad.
Dude, I've always been like attracted to the Bronco or the Scout, and I kind of always thought like, okay, those are, that's a great car there and such. But was coming across these Blazers, and man, those things look good. And again, still selling for good money. It's like,
Yeah.
People really loving those cars just because it's like, they're just not made.
Right. Well, the super clean ones that, like the ones that you got pictures of, they were super clean, really good looking rigs. And I think that demands a premium, right? When they're redone like that, 'cause, man, it's hard to find that anymore. Those things were used and abused.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not too surprising that they're commanding a pretty good penny.
Okay. That makes sense there. No, what else? The Lincoln Continental. I found my Lincoln Continental. I forget what year it is. I think it's a 70 something or whatnot. The long stretched out Entourage.
Yeah.
Lincoln Continental. That thing is awesome. Multiple VW bugs. I'm a fan of the bugs, so would love one of those.
The buses.
The buses were beautiful.
Yeah.
The buses were beautiful. Gosh, those things looked great. Absolutely looked great. What else? I mean, there was that LaFerrari. I mean, that's awesome, but it was kind of like straightforward, and the Bugatti Chiron. So I found out like that was actually Canelo Alvarez's Bugatti, the boxer there. So that was a little interesting there, but I think he might have had a reserve on it and it didn't actually sell. So,
well, I mean that the LaFerrari is that one. Okay, a famous guy owned it. It was Sammy Hagar's car, but it was also a custom spec. You don't see that particular white. I mean, it's not even an Arctic white. It's an off-white a little bit. You just don't see those.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a pretty special car.
No, it is. It is. I mean, just overall, I mean, it's part of that holy trinity of cars. So, it already has that going for it.
Right.
It only had, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 1,700 miles on it.
Right.
So it's not even like the guy drove it all that much or anything of the sort.
Which is also kind of crazy. And then it sold for what, 4.3 million?
Yeah, it did. It did. I mean, the coolest part of that auction was him including a trip down to Cabo, to go celebrate his birthday on his private jet, and that went to whoever the winner was. That was
pretty sweet.
That was pretty, mid auction or towards the end of it, he jumps on the mic and it's like, hey man, after this, I'm going to Cabo to celebrate my birthday. Whoever, bids this thing, wins this thing, I got 2 spots. I got 2 seats on my jet for you.
Wow.
That's nuts.
That is nuts. That's pretty sweet though.
Yeah. I thought when he announced that the car would have gone up, a little bit more or whatever. I can't exactly recall. I think it was only truthfully like another, 50, 100 grand or something like that and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, how cool of an experience, would that be? I mean, not only did you win this car, but now you're flying down with him. I mean, that's quite the freaking story.
Flying down with him is pretty sweet, but you got to think too, the whoever bought it is paying $4.3 million. They have their own private jet and go where the fuck they want.
Oh, well said. All right. I will give you that. Well said.
It's not like it was you or I buying it, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another one that I was interested in the photos was that I think it's a C10, but it has it's a 6-wheel C10.
Yeah, I saw that too. And apparently this is like some famous car, and after I've seen it once now, I've actually seen it a couple of times.
Oh, really?
Here, but apparently it's like a downloadable vehicle in like some video games. And it's made like the rounds of, I guess it's popular on social media or such. And it's made the rounds on to like a number of different, conventions, hot rod shows, this, that, and the other.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but that thing was wicked. I mean, I wish, could have talked to whomever about that. It was one of the vehicles, if I'm not mistaken, like Craig Jackson, like briefly went over during his tour there. But yeah, it would have been nice to hear a little bit more about that vehicle and what that was all about.
Yeah, pretty sick truck. It looks like a 65 or 66, I think. That's the body anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that thing, I mean, just absolutely looks put together.
Oh,
I mean, that thing is nuts. Yeah, I wish I knew the specs a little bit more on that, and should have guided you to the website. I mean, it still should be available in the results, but you can go to the Barrett Jackson website and go through all the cars that were auctioned off.
Nice.
And it should have a description on each of those. So if you wanted to circle back and actually get the details that I'm missing here, or the years or something like that, that'd be worth doing.
Yeah, no worries. And then I'm actually surprised there weren't more Ferraris and whatnot. I mean, you showcased one, a 348, and that's an awesome car. I was kind of curious how much that went for. If you have any idea.
I do not know.
Yeah.
No, I do not. I'd have to go back and look at that on the website there. No, there was not a lot of Ferraris. I mean, honestly, what you could almost say dominated out there were Corvettes.
Yeah.
It looks like those things trade like baseball cards. There was a lot of Corvettes out there.
Noticed a lot of the pace car Corvette.
Yeah, those were absolutely cool. And I actually came across, because I think I pointed out that Hoovy from Hoovy's Garage, the YouTuber, was out there. And I came across one of his videos, and he actually bought one of the pace cars. I think he said he bought the cheapest one there, some Monte Carlo or something like that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, the pace cars were awesome. And one that sold for a really good number was the Camaro ZL1. I think that only ended up selling for like 45 to like 51 grand, if I'm not mistaken. Which to me, like, you're getting that on the cheap in comparison to what it actually sells for on the street and all that stuff. Now, granted, you're handcuffed because the car is not road legal, so you're kind of in a bind or whatnot.
It's not road legal.
But still,
it was a pace car, right? It's not road legal.
Yeah, that's what I heard, was like the pace cars weren't necessarily road legal. So I don't know if I was fed some BS on that, or if that was the case. But yeah, to my from what I had heard, like the pace cars weren't legal. Now I don't know what would make them not legal or something like that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But what do I know? I just rolled with it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. I wonder if they were just never registered or what, because they've got all the pieces parts. So yeah, or maybe there's no VIN number. I don't know. Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, they were all they all didn't have that many miles. So I think the Monte Carlo that was purchased there only had 750 miles on it.
Oh my
and it was
gosh.
like a 90, a late 90s, or so. So no, I would have loved one. And the C6s and such, they kind of went for about market value, about 45 to, some even went for like 60 grand there and such. But it looks like a couple of them, you can get them for a decent price, like a fair price. It wasn't like, a shitload of money or anything like that. But it'd be cool as hell to drive one of those things on the track.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, that would be flipping awesome. Like, I'd have a great time. I'd run the lights on that thing and everything. I mean, that thing would be awesome to me.
That would be fun. That would be very fun. What about the Shelby Daytona? I saw one of those.
Oh man, that's a great looking car.
Yeah.
I did not see what that sold for there, and I did see it on the website, but it is not coming back to me on how much that was sold for. That was a high dollar car, but then that thing was beautiful too.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it was a high dollar. I don't know the numbers, but I don't believe there's very many of those out there.
Oh, okay.
Pretty rare. With
Yeah,
what's that? Shelby blue on white with, it's got the sticker kit like it was originally raced. I don't know. It'd be nice to know what kind of heritage that particular car had.
Yeah. Actually, I do have the site here. I will send that over to you just to have as reference for yourself there. Sure. I think that was just the Fiat. And I would be doing it a disservice as I think I sent you the specs on this little Fiat that went across the line. Mm-hmm. And there was significant work put into this car here to make this, kind of track ready here. Was blown away that nobody was feeling it. And that went off the line for like 10 grand. I think that was a pretty sweet deal because you can't even get a stock, Fiat 500 for 10 grand, let alone a Barth that's got, what looked like, easily 20 grand worth of work put into it.
It's really funny they put that much work into it.
Yeah. You'd be surprised at that thing. I mean, it looked like it was ready to go. I would have absolutely scooped that thing up if I was prepared for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Susan would love to drive that. She'd be all about it.
Yeah, she was all over that. She was like, even as we were sitting there, she was like even tapping my leg and was just like, you know what, do you think, because Jim had a bitter past there, and she was like, you think we can get Jim to scoop this up for us and we'd Venmo his ass, the money?
That's funny.
So yeah, it would have been a heck of a story, though. That would have been great.
Yeah. That's really funny. Another one that caught my eye was, and maybe you'll remember the name of it because I didn't quite catch it, but it has the kind of the look of a late 50s Thunderbird, but the thing had pocket doors. They slid forward into the fender.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but yes, I did take a moment in looking at that. I feel like I should have embraced that a little more than I actually did. But I do not know what that was here. I'm going to frantically do some searching on the back end and see if I can find that. Okay, I just found out that GT40 ended up selling for $396,000.
That seems yeah, that seems under market. That seems low.
Yeah,
to me.
You know what? There were a number of people that came out of the event that I heard verbally, and then after checking some things out on YouTube, there was a number of people that claimed they lost their ass.
Oh, yeah.
In this auction.
Yeah.
They were just like, there was no real money out in the crowd or something like that, I think was the way one dude phrased it and all that stuff, which kind of blew my mind.
When you said that this was a pre-auction to the one in January, that right there would kind of tell me that. It's like, don't bring your high dollar car that you expect to get premium for to an auction that people are going to wait for the premium.
Yeah. If everybody's normally accustomed to coming to the auction in January.
Yeah.
And I imagine, if you're not living in the Arizona area there, you're kind of like planning this thing out, like, hey, come January, I'm flying out there and all stuff, which also to side tangent. I mean, I truly feel that it's something that everybody has to do. If you are a fan of cars, if you consider yourself an enthusiast, it's truly something you have to go and see with your own eyes.
Yeah.
And yes, the mood was that it was light and it was down. We even heard some vendors that I was talking with as they were breaking down and whatnot, and they were just like, yeah, it's nothing like January. So they make it seem like January is a borderline like, spring break of car auctions where it's just wild and people are going nuts and
Wow.
this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Wow. Quite the zoo. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's such an interesting spectacle, and I've kind of, I don't know, every time I watch one of those on TV, because lucky they televise that, I just feel like people are overpaying for cars. Each one maybe has a little bit of a special something about it. It's a one of one. It has this particular spec or something. There was only 10 of these made, or whatever. I still feel like they're way overpaying. And good for the seller, right? Because that's what they want. Get top dollar for it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was it totally seemed like that was that was a thing. But I mean, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I mean, it's, people go there looking to pay money. Yeah. I don't think they're looking to like get a deal.
Yeah, that's true. Now, maybe that's the cheap guy in me wants a deal.
No kidding. No, I mean, I think we all do.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can, if you're thinking you're getting you're looking for a deal or something like that, you should have caught that dude before he almost kind of brought it to the auction or whatever like that.
Yeah.
The people at the auction, it's like, this is their, they've had this car circled. This is what they want. And like the guy that bought the LaFerrari, apparently he had spoke to Craig Jackson out at, in Palm Springs. And he told him at that point, like, I'm going home with that car. Oh. And I think that's kind of like the attitude of some of these people. Like, hey, I saw that they were auctioning this car. I have it circled. I'm going home with that thing, what I'm saying? And if I overpay for it, it doesn't matter. It's kind of that, almost like that full life circle of anybody that, buys a car and hangs on to it. And it's like, oh, they're just, hanging on to it to sell it to the younger guy that didn't have a chance to buy that car at new.
Right.
But he's able to come back around and buy it. And he's okay spending, 5, 10, 15,000 extra dollars, on it because it's his dream car and this is the car he wants.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not like a used car auction in that, you're in there looking for a deal and looking to flip it for like something else. Now, with that said, the GT40 that, you pointed out, and there were a number of other cars. There was this Rolls-Royce Cullinan that had the Mansory package onto it. I thought that thing was amazing looking.
Yep.
The Mansory package alone was $250,000, and yet the vehicle still sold for $300,000. So there were some people that absolutely made out on the car. The Scarliner. I can't recall what that sold for, but that, did not sell for much. And even in the middle of that auction, they took a break and kind of like tried to talk the car up as best as they could. Like, hey, everybody, I don't think you realize what you're looking at. Like, saying, this car has got over, saying $150,000 in work alone, saying, and all that stuff. Like, this car, I think they even said they thought it was going to fetch, $350,000 to like $500,000 for it. And, it ends up selling for, a couple $100,000 or something like that. Like it wasn't really all that much.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there were people that got some deals. There's no doubt about that. But you weren't necessarily going there to look for a deal. And it wasn't as much of a pissing contest as I thought it was going to be. Maybe that comes out a little bit more in January where you have a little bit, you got more people.
Yeah, I could see
a lot more people are a little bit more excited or something like bad. And,
well, and
you know,
in
this guy's gonna,
the higher end cars come out, you know, the true one of ones and that kind of stuff. And if you have collectors in the crowd and they know what they're looking at, you know, that's where, that's where it comes from, probably.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So there was one other one that kind of caught my eye. It was that Gulf Porsche race car. That one is pretty sweet.
Ooh. Yeah. So that was good looking as well, too. I do not have the specs on that, but I actually have the website up and working for me. So let's track that thing down.
And while you're looking at that, I kind of liked that Bronco. They had a off-road Bronco as well.
Yeah, the crazy one with all the stickers and such on there.
Yeah. It looked like it actually is a race truck. No glass, you know, it's ready to go.
Yeah. It was kind of like fit for the Baja series or some shit like that. Yeah. No, that thing looked like it was ready to go. I do have the Porsche here. It was a 1971 911T RSR. 6-cylinder, 5-speed manual, and just, you know, simply finished in that Gulf racing blue.
Yeah.
You know, some more details here, but
yeah, that Gulf got the
sold for $121,000.
121. I mean, honestly, for that, that's not bad.
I mean, when you're thinking about like other cars that you get around that price, I mean, that truly is not that bad, and that is definitely something special here
for sure.
Let's see if I can track down that Chevy for you here, and
which one's
and
that?
we can talk about that truck, the truck here.
Oh yeah, the C10.
Yes. Yeah, so many freaking Corvettes and Camaros, Monte Carlos. The pickup trucks. The pickup trucks are a big thing, you know, saying, I know you got one hanging out in your shop there. You got something good going on there.
I think I got it at the right time because the pickup truck stuff's going crazy. It's really picking up. Pickup.
Yeah, okay.
It's getting more popular. Okay. More people are doing it, you know, restoring those and that kind of stuff. So I think that was a good purchase.
That was a great find and a good purchase. I mean, I think what's shocking is how much money can go into these resto mods.
Oh, goodness.
And it seems like those people were more on the hunt to make money than anyone else, you know, because those were some of the people that we kind of heard from that claimed like they lost their ass on this vehicle or that vehicle. And even as they came across the auction floor, again, some of them just didn't sell that well.
I think auctions, you're just taking a gamble at an auction, right? You don't know who's going to be there. Or how well it was advertised that resto mods are going to be big at this auction or what, you know. So if the people don't know to come, you know, maybe they would have purchased or bid high if they knew that you were there. So I don't know. It's a little bit of a gamble. And then the resto mod crowd, so they're dumping an extreme amount of money into those builds, right? So they really have to get top dollar in order to even break even on the build that they put out there. So I think it's a huge gamble. If that's what they're in it for, it's not like just doing a restoration, you know, and putting an LS into a truck or whatever and building a street stock, you know, something that looks cool, runs good, that kind of stuff, you know, but you've limited your build dollars to $25,000 or $30,000. You know, these guys are building at $100,000 and hoping that they're going to get 200 out of it.
No, you're absolutely right. That's exactly where these people were coming from, you know, and that's, you know, you really are pitching to a niche kind of crowd. So again, if anybody was looking to make money in that auction. I really think it was those people there and all that stuff. But it's tricky when you're taking it to the auction. I mean, it's literally the open market,
Yeah.
and the market, is either going to feel it or not, or, they're not going to be, at the right place at the right time.
Yep.
And that's something that, Susan and I kind of came away from, like, why not sell something like this on Bring a Trailer, where it's going to sit for, 10 days or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be viewed by, everybody across the country or even outside the country. And, and then word of mouth is going to travel and all that stuff. At that Barrett Jackson, I mean, it's on that floor for 90 seconds and then that is it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they have preview days though, right? The cars are there for a few days. But
they are. But but it's nothing like I said, like I feel like Bring a Trailer,
right?
And maybe just I'm not that familiar with.
No, I agree with you.
The entire process, but yeah. Okay, I do have that C10. So it's a 65 C10.
Yep.
They call it the C10 Slayer. It's sold for $330,000.
Holy smoking!
Yeah. It is a C10 6x6 pickup. It's got 900 horsepower, 6.2 liter engine, a 5-liter Whipple supercharger, with an 8-stack fuel injection.
Yeah,
that sounds
sticking out of the
awesome.
hood.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is built to withstand, they say, over 1,500 horsepower. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of details here going into it more. Made appearances on Hoonigan, 3-time SEMA, booth show truck. It is featured in Microsoft's Forza Horizon 5.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny.
And it is a Mattel Hot Wheel truck.
Oh,
or it's going to become a Mattel Hot Wheel truck in 2025.
Oh. That's kind of cool.
It's actually that. Yeah. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
that is pretty cool.
$300,000. Wow.
Yeah, 330. I mean, so again, and that was the thing. Like, if you're buying these vehicles, something like that. I mean, that's a unique vehicle. But let's just say for like some of the other retro mods or like a clean Blazer and all that stuff, because even the Blazers, we're going for pretty good money there. Actually, I'm trying to get back to that.
I was kind of curious about that because both the ones that I've got pictures of. There's a short video, I think, of one of them. Man, they were super
green
clean.
One.
Oh, the green one's gorgeous, but the red one I thought was gorgeous too.
Okay.
You can have the green one. I'll take the red one. That'll be good.
Ooh, that was so good looking there. Actually, I think I just. Oh no, that's a T20 custom pickup. Not it. Type in Blazer here.
I've seen a couple of Blazers around here that haven't moved in a long, long time, and I'm so tempted to just pull in and be like, "Hey, I know that probably doesn't run, but what do you want for it?" Just what I need is another project, but I just love a Blazer. I love the old
stack them.
I am starting to stack them up. It's getting bad, but I just love the old K5 Blazers, man. Okay,
so that green one, it's a 72 K5 Blazer, sold for $82,500.
82. Okay, that's a little rich for a Blazer for me.
That's deep. That was deep. I mean, it's clean and as perfect as it seemed. Very expensive.
Yeah.
Yet I wondered, and what my question is, are the people buying these? Are you looking at these vehicles like a stock? You're buying an Amazon and Microsoft stock back in the 80s, and it's like, I'm going to hang on to this, and I may have overpaid for it, but I have no intention on flipping it. And either A, I'm going to pass it down through the family, because I mean, truly, as generations go by, I mean, that car will absolutely go up in value. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be somebody, that is going to want that with the direction that vehicles are going on electric and
Fully agree.
all this other stuff.
Yep.
So I don't know if it's looked at like that, so there's never this like intent of, God, I mean, I don't even know if they're looking at driving it. But if it's just more of like, no, I'm buying this to flip later on in life, or I'm going to give this to my kid, and then he's going to flip this.
Right. Sit on it for another 20 years.
When he's middle-aged or something.
Yeah, 20 years from now,
exactly.
You'll get your money back, but I don't know. It's not the best investment, honestly.
I wouldn't think so. I think it's a little risky here, but to each his own. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I say that, and then look at all these Bitcoin heroes. They're kicking ass right now. So
true, that's true. Yeah,
but yeah. That was pretty awesome. The other Blazers, as I'm flipping through, I mean, truthfully, they look like big money cars. This one sold for $71,500. Another 71 sold for 72,600. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say after looking about 3 or 4 of these, $70,000 is what it takes to get you, a clean Blazer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No mention of miles or anything like that, but, yeah.
Interesting. Well,
it looks to be about that much.
Yeah, I'll take the one out of the weeds down the street for $5,000. That's how I roll.
I would too. I would too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up that Bronco too, and let's get a number on that.
Oh yes. Kind of surprised that was an auction item. I mean, it looks like it was put there by Ford. Ford Performance on the side of it,
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, well, and it's super clean. Who knows if it's ever even been off-road, but it's quite possible that it has been actually raced and whatnot.
Good night.
500,000
sold for, damn, I mean, cut it in half. 258,000.
Oh, okay. I mean, it probably cost that much to build that truck.
It's 23 of 50. So number 23 of 50 ever built. It's got a Coyote V8 engine in it. So he took it out of the Mustang and paired it up with a 10-speed automatic. They claim MSRP. MSRP on this truck was $336.
Okay, so they lost money on that one.
Yeah. They kind of lost their ass in that.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, there was a Chevelle.
What was the Thunderbird, right? That you said with the
it was the pocket doors.
Yeah.
It's not a Thunderbird though. I don't know what that thing was called. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I will scroll in the background and see if I can stumble across that.
Yeah. You had found a big block Chevelle, looks like a 71, the orange one. And that one sold for $35,000. And I feel like that was a really good price too. All white interior.
Okay. I think I do remember seeing that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That one is quite attractive. I mean, for $35,000, that's probably about the right spot in the market for a completely restored one. And I don't know, it doesn't, it's, what does it say? AC fuel injected big block. Could be factory that way. I think that makes it worth a little bit more. So I think $35,000 is right about where it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill myself going through all of these damn cars trying to find this thing, especially the full freaking 1,000 list of cars.
I know there's 1,000 of them. If you don't know the name of it, it's a little bit hard, but that's all right.
Yeah, almost like a needle in the haystack. But nonetheless, I do get to cruise through some of these cars again. Yeah, there was a Ford Lightning that sold for $38,500.
The electric
Ford
Lightning. The electric
No,
truck?
the original.
Oh, okay.
The original. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet those are coming back up in value, actually.
Oh, it would have been nice. Actually, I didn't see like a GMC Typhoon. I mean, that could have been hiding in there, but I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
There was a Buick Grand National that sold for 33.
Huh.
I love the Grand National.
Really?
I don't know what it is
Huh.
about that car. I don't know, but I think that thing is awesome as hell.
That's interesting.
Awesome as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, those, I don't know, some of the prices aren't that crazy out of line, it feels like. So after being there and experiencing all of that, like, what's your temperature on that? Good, bad? You gonna go back in January, watch it again?
Yeah, actually, I'd love to go back in January.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I would love to sucker you into coming down here and checking that out with me. Um,
I could probably
yeah.
make a weekend out of that.
Okay. No, that would be awesome. Uh, wouldn't be surprised one bit if I'm able to get some passes. So
Okay.
that would be pretty neat. But yeah, no, I think it's absolutely worth it. You got to see it. I mean, it's legitimately it's Disneyland.
Yeah.
Again, for car enthusiasts, I mean, you're not going to be disappointed. I mean, you might be disappointed that your bank account's not deep enough to go home with anything.
That's no
But
joke.
it's you're. I had to go back a second day. Like,
Yeah.
I was there on Thursday. Toured the place. Got the private tour and walked around there. After the place was shut down, which was really neat.
Oh, that's kind of
And
nice.
then, but yet still, I couldn't stop thinking about it and needed to come back out there the next day. Saying I ended up coming out there Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
To look at it again. I mean, you can really go, car by car. So, I mean, literally just taking 3 to 5 steps at a time and then find yourself stopping, admiring, and talking about the vehicle that's in front of you.
I
for
could totally
10
see that.
minutes.
I
10,
could totally see
15
that.
minutes.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And then they have like food vendors there and all that stuff. So you can like totally take a break, we took a break for a minute, went to the little food court area, ate some food, and then got right back to it where you're just looking through each and every car and all stuff. And then again, I didn't necessarily take advantage of it all that much because it wasn't like, I was really going to, buy anything and all stuff. But, you can absolutely open up the car doors, get inside. I mean, the whole point is like they're trying to sell that car. So, I mean, you can do anything and everything, excluding taking it for a test drive.
Right.
There. So, no, it was fantastic. I mean, again, you're going to find cars on there, out there that you didn't even know, you may not have known existed, or you definitely didn't know it existed on your list until you saw it, just then.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, you got me talked into it. I'll come down and spend a couple of days because that's like, 1,000 cars museum. It takes time to go through that. But for a person that really appreciates cars, it sounds amazing. I can spend hours.
It was.
I can spend hours and hours just looking and drooling on cars. We'll have to take a rag with me to wipe everything back off. But
No, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We got to bring Grant down there too. Grant would have loved that as well too. I mean, he knows so much about cars there and all that stuff. So I could only see him, as we see each of these cars, him going off on his tangent there.
Yep. I can see that
about everything, including Jurassic Park.
I can't get away from it. Jeez Louise.
It had to make the show. It had to.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Even when he's not on the show, it comes up. So, yep. Right on. Well, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to really put the photos together and to, document in your brain, like figure out how you're going to talk about this. I appreciate you actually doing that for me and coming on the show and talking about it. So yeah, we're going to.
Oh no, dude, it was, absolutely awesome. Yeah. I mean, for any listener out there, yeah, I mean, really do yourself a solid and go and check this thing out. You know, grab a buddy, cruise around. I mean, they serve drinks in there.
Yeah.
So, walk around with a beer in your hand, admire, truly some of the coolest cars out there and all that stuff. And again, there was a lot of cars that were sold for reasonable prices.
Yeah.
Cars with very low miles. So, you're looking for, a 2010 Camaro SS there, that's bone stock and has only got a few hundred miles. Well, you can get one for $27,000, and if that's your thing and that's what you're chasing after, I mean, $27,000, that's not bad. I mean, especially in today's car market and what you're paying for $27,000 anyway.
I think you're right. I think that's pretty good. And especially an auction like that might not be what everybody there is looking for. So you could get a deal.
That is what I picked up. There was a few cars, a Lexus ISF, that went across and didn't really pull that much money and whatnot. I think it was just one of those cars that people just kind of blew off or whatnot. But, it's a V8 sedan. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of no joke, right. There, and all that stuff. But yeah, you would absolutely find something, there. But yeah, nonetheless, even if you don't come down there to be, to make a purchase on anything, just the environment, the atmosphere, everybody's just into cars, and why everybody's there, because they're into cars, and there's something cool about being around your people, there. Yeah. And it's really easy to talk to, the person that's walking next to you there or something like that. And then you have the auction itself, and there's excitement and some juice behind that as well too. You can easily, step into that section there and kind of, say and get a feel for, what some of these auctions go for, especially the high dollar ones where there's a lot of competition. And that LaFerrari really was kind of like the showstopper. It sold for big money, but also too, it just attracted, just a lot of energy. I mean, everybody in the whole thing was kind of going crazy there. Yeah. With that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like January might be even, 10 times that. So that could be pretty cool. Yeah. Look forward to it.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Okay, I'll skip this last one. I didn't find the orange Chevelle, but I found this other 1970. I sold for $60,000. So
strangely, that doesn't surprise me. The way the market is anymore, It's like, damn, $60,000 for a 1970 Chevelle. There you go. It's nuts. Yeah. Yep. Right on. Well, let's wrap this up, man. I really appreciate your time. We got an hour out of it. I'm going to cut up the videos a little bit. We'll stick some of those in there, and should be good. I appreciate your time.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Right on.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Hit me up anytime.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, brother.
All right.
Bye.